It's been a little bit. Let's talk about one Johann Sebastian Jschlatt once again. Jschlatt, obviously one of my favorite content creators on YouTube right now. I've talked about him a lot, and it's been a little bit since I've talked about him, so why not come back and make a video about how his videos suck now. Getting right back into it with the positivity. No, but if you don't know anything about Jschlatt, good for you, but I'm going to tell you about him. He started off making video essays on his Jschlatt channel before streaming on Twitch. After the popularity of his tribute to Minecraft, he started playing Minecraft on the SMP Live server with He Who Shall Not Be Named. He got sick of Minecraft and streaming. He started playing Wii games. He got sick of Wii games. He played Among Us one time, never played it again, and now he makes exclusively sponsored Jackbox videos. A pretty sweet gig. I mean, seriously, you get to make the same video over and over with the same people over and over again. You get to make the same jokes, and to their credit, these videos usually elicit at least a slight chuckle out of me. And the problem with these videos is not, I mean, there's nothing that truly speaks, against these videos except for how they get you to chuckle. So earlier this year, Jschlatt was on the fabled Dream SMP back in its prime, which was just a few months ago, and it's crazy how fast the internet moves on. But by being on said server, he started to associate himself with some YouTubers that maybe didn't align with him. You know who I'm talking about, the likes of Dream, georgenotfound, somebody like Tubbo or tommyinnit. I'm probably speaking gibberish to you right now. But these people all have like family-friendly, brand-safe, like Stan-friendly, Twitter-friendly personas and channels. The people you would least expect to get canceled. Somebody like Dream, Sapnap, anybody in that whole circle is somebody that you would not expect to get canceled, somebody that you would not expect for there to be public outrage against. And so he associated himself with these people, and this is nothing against these creators or the people who watch them. It's just that did not fit what Jschlatt wanted to do. Another big point is that Jschlatt had uploaded a video to his his weekly slap channel, where he talked about parasocial relationships and how dangerous they can be with these content creators, and how acting as if a content creator can truly love their fans is a terrible idea to push onto said fans. And he makes a lot of valid criticisms in that video, and sure, there are a lot of counterpoints, but I think the main point that he makes is very strong, and it's an argument that needs to be listened to. The stands of these Dream SMP channels, however, do not listen, and they continue to form these parasocial relationships, and it's bad, and Jschlatt does not like that. So how does he get these sort of fans away from his channel? Easy. Offend them so many times that they have to leave. So, the Jackbox videos, the phase of Jschlatt we are currently stuck on, where every video somehow gets an ad deal, and it's the same exact thing every time. In these videos, Jschlatt relies on dark humor the same way you rely on your legs to walk. It's filled with no real breaks, just with edgy, shocking, dark humor. And honestly, the first time around, maybe it was funny. Maybe it elicited an actual reaction. It's like, whoa, can he say that? But now it's like, he's gonna say that. Oh boy, another 9/11 joke. What was that? A joke about racism? Oh my goodness. Perhaps incest will be the punchline this time around. Copy paste, it's lazy, and most importantly, it's not really funny. I mean, that's fine. Jschlatt said himself, if you don't like his content, don't watch it. And it's not like I dislike the content, I just dislike the idea behind the content. I dislike that it represents what it looks like him getting lazier and catering to an audience that I don't particularly like being on his channel, and that leads me into my next point. It gets a chuckle from me. It still can get a slight chortle, a slight giggle. you know? But I think the problem with these videos is not the people who chortle or giggle or snicker or anything like that. It's the people who full on laugh every single time. Back in the dark era of YouTube, 2016 or 2015-ish, I don't quite remember when it happened, it's been so long, I'm an old man. PewDiePie was going through a bit of a rough spell. Sure, he was the most subscribed YouTuber at the time, but it didn't really feel like it because his videos didn't draw too many views, and he was sick of doing the same things he had been doing to get him to that point, and that's fair enough. He was uploading daily. I mean, what more can you ask from the guy? He wanted to play around with his content a little bit, and unfortunately he went down a road that people did not like to see. The idea of these edgy, dark, shock comedy jokes is not new on YouTube, and in this era of YouTube, it was huge. That was a lot of the content on there. You make fun of, you know, the autistic kid, you make fun of, you know, a tragedy, and then, you know, you get your... Well, no, you don't get your ad revenue. YouTube demonetized that, thank God. But you still garner this attention and this reaction, and that's your goal. That is your purpose. And Felix, obviously, he was not like the biggest perpetrator of this sort of idea. He didn't like really buy into like the truly, you know, like shocking, horrible things. But what he was doing was still like borderline, like, is this even funny? Is this even okay? And it all came to a head when he released a video featuring some very anti-Semitic remarks, jokes. I don't want to quote it. I don't want to play any clips. It was bad. It was disgusting. And to this day, I still think about how bad of a fuck up it was. It was uncalled for. It was unnecessary. And it was not even funny. It did two things, though. It brought about a very negative image of PewDiePie as this alt-right figure, and then it brought in fans that he did not want on his channel, mainly from the alt-right. The edgy, dark humor loving 12-year-olds, the borderline racists, or in some cases very racists. It was not a good look to have these sort of people on your channel constantly commenting and, you know, making their voices heard in your community. That's not what you want as a large content creator. You want your image, you want your audience, and you want yourself to be as brand safe as possible. And Nazis are not very brand safe, believe it or not. And so just by, you know, making a few bad jokes, he brought this sort of audience to his channel, and to this day, it's been hard to sort of scrub them clean from his audience. Despite how Felix has changed since then, his audience is still always going to have that stain on it because of these jokes he made. And that's the fear for Jschlatt, that making these jokes and constantly using them and like relying on them, using them as a crutch, using them as the main point of these videos is going to bring about an audience that is not wanted on his channel. It'll drive away a lot of the older fans, and it'll just make things so much worse for him, and that's not something that anybody wants to see. By making these jokes, even if they don't believe what they're saying, they're going to bring in people who do. Just because you make a joke about something doesn't mean, you know, you actually like feel that way. Just because you make a racist joke, it doesn't mean you're racist. But by making that racist joke, you bring in actual racist people, and that's a bad thing. Look at someone like iDubbbz. I mean, he was huge. He was a controversial and big name back in his heyday, and look at him now. You barely see anything about him. He doesn't, you know, do much, and he's never really brought up in a lot of conversations about, you know, who's your favorite YouTuber? When's the last time you thought about iDubbbz? It's been a while. He fell off harder than Blueface, who was popular for half a year, and now he runs a cult, I think. iDubbbz used his dark humor, his offensive comedy to his advantage, and it was his whole branding for a while. He was the guy who yelled slurs and also had a shaved head. Wasn't he so cool? I mean, seriously, going back and watching an iDubbbz video that I probably laughed at when I first watched it is so uncomfortable. The whole punchline is that he's using a slur, That's nothing. That's not content. And by doing that, he created this audience of people who find slurs funny. And that's the problem, is that if you ever want to change from that, it is going to be impossible. Because the minute you start using that kind of humor, you are going to be labeled as the guy who uses that type of humor. You're going to be labeled as the guy who yells slurs. For some people, that's an image they're willing to embrace, but for somebody like iDubbbz, it got old very quickly. And he realized when his significant other had started an OnlyFans that this group of people with these very right-leaning tendencies and beliefs, that he was not happy with the audience that he had created, who were beginning to attack him and act like he had betrayed them by not even, like, it wasn't even anything. They were just overreacting to nothing. And yes, I know, saying slurs for comedic effect isn't really a thing on YouTube anymore, and it's hard to compare it to anything, but I'd say making these sort of jokes, using a blackface joke in your thumbnail is kind of similar. Obviously, you can't truly parallel it, but it's pretty similar. And so you just have to be careful with using this kind of stuff, because that could become your brand, and that's a brand that is nearly impossible to break free from. Again, I'm not saying that Jschlatt or PewDiePie or iDubbbz, I'm not saying any of them are racist, but I'm saying that by doing what they did, they brought racists into their audience, and that is not a good thing. They gave them a community that they didn't deserve. They gave them a platform to speak that they did not deserve. So sure, Jschlatt is still a funny guy, and yes, I'll watch his newest videos as soon as they come out, but damn man, chill with the edge. Becoming less edgy and more concerning. If Jschlatt continues to make this style of content, it'll get way more boring, way less funny, it'll garner more hate towards him, and it'll bring bad people into his audience. I say this as a concerned fan, hoping that we can leave this slew of offensive for the sake of offensive in the past. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, I'm starting a daily upload schedule because I hate myself and I want to, go through some torture, I guess. If you want to see more rants, commentary, me miserably failing at being funny, then please subscribe. Again, every day, new video. It'll be fun. Leave a like if you want, and leave a comment telling me, your favorite slur. No, don't do that. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.